what up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor. Boom, 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 boom. We have a insane week with a lot of earnings coming out. We're going to be looking at about 10, and then I'm going to throw a speculative trade idea towards the end of the video again. Look at the little toolbar on the bottom. I'm going to do my best on breaking the different times up for each of the stocks that we're talking about. Going to be a little bit long-winded. Sit back, relax, get your favorite beverage. Of course, I'm drinking my beloved mineral water here, and we're just going to be having some fun going forth here. If you haven't seen, I'm going to introduce the Wheel of Destiny. That helps us decide on making very tough decisions, of course. Completely joking. The Wheel of Destiny is not a financial advisor. It cannot predict the future. It just plays the odds and the statistics of what's on the board. But stay tuned for that. Again, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe. We'll greatly appreciate that going forth. So, boom, let's go ahead and get started looking at some charts. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the very first one. We are looking at Crowdstrike. What is Crowdstrike? Basically, it's like an Internet of Things that provides cloud protection for enterprise endpoint clients. Been very much running up the last months or so. Somewhat of a heavier growth stock, because again, we're seeing, if you look at the free cash flow per share, it's at 52 cents, so it's a negative 52 cents. Again, what's one those brackets mean. And the revenue is trying to climb, but again, a lot of vesting in itself on trying to become the leader in this market. A lot of the ones you kind of compare to is like Palo Alto Systems. They kind of do that endpoint protection, really protecting around the admin accounts within your enterprise clients. With CrowdStrike, what's the expected move for the week? We're looking for around $19.16. Let's just call it $20 because we're all friends here. Initially looking for this one to kind of hold here. That with that market sell-off that we saw with a lot of those tech-heavy stocks, we hit that 144 EMA, which is around $176 right now. That is going to be your next level of base here. That's going to be some pretty substantial support. That's what was its previous bottom here. Unless the report is absolutely terrible, which I think all people know is that the earnings report on my horizon is always a coin flip. The company can do great things, post great numbers, but if an analyst goes negative on it, because you saw here via the Analyze tab, you already had the research team, we have Thinkorswim and the Street.com give it a sell and reduce, which honestly, they can suck on that. It doesn't matter too much to me what other people think of it. I'm really going to be looking at the fundamentals, understanding the business, and of course, loving the chart pattern here. Initially, looking for that support again, that 175 to 180. If it does pull back to hold to the upside, we want to see it back above the 50 SMA here, which is that little red dotted teal line here around that 216. I know there's a little bit extended here. It has been beat down, but it is waiting on earnings. So again, you have to understand the psychology of what people are thinking about this. They're just kind of sitting, potentially waiting on what earnings unfolds, potentially cutting some or adding to it, depending on how it carries forth. Next one we're going to be jumping into is a very speculative trade, SNDL. Of course, sundials, growers, this thing has been a rocket ship, has been very much a penny stock, but this has gotten on a lot of people's watch list. This one has earnings coming out on the 17th of market. It looks like the earnings conference is on the 18th on 9:30 a.m. So it looks like it's going to be previously in the morning. That seems a little strange, but okay. It has earnings this week, so we can look at the expected move for the this week is only 50 cents. You're like, what the flip flop, Ken? 50 cents, 50 cents. The stock's trading at $1.60. Of course, 50 cents. That's 25% there, son. That's a quite substantial amount of moving power with this one. Of course, a lot of momentum behind this. We hit $4 initially, and then now we're kind of really coming back down here to somewhat to earth. Initially speaking, looking for some support around $1 to $1.15. If this thing really wants to rip, we need to get past those beloved purple parabolic SR dots. And we need to break above 175 to really get this rocket ship back into space, aka with the fantastic SpaceX shirt wearing once again today. So this one, looking forward to if it does get that momentum and get that growth and they post great guidance, we can easily see this back up to $2. But again, very much a speculative trade and be very careful with this one. Next one on the list is FCEL, talking about another spec play here. Again, another earnings coming out with these EV kind of plays here. We're seeing this again, that A lot of people had paper hands here and really kind of gave this one back quite substantially here from that $30 range coming through, bouncing a little bit on the 89 EMA, but again, aggressively bouncing on the 144 EMA as well. So initially, we have some substantial short-term support around $16.55, and a little bit more support coming in around 89 EMA, which is around $14.40. The expected move for this week with earnings is $3.20. That's a very spicy meatball there. That's a $3 move and a $17 stock. Again, that $3 move is what the market makers are projecting. That doesn't mean it has to happen. That's what the plus or minus they're giving the stock on the bell curve skew. So initially looking, could this potentially run up to $20? Yeah, sure, why not? We are kind of trading a little bit more neutral here. We're still below the 50-day, but this has been a very nice little recovery here. Maybe trying to build a base here, but again, with earnings, what is earnings is very much a coin flip, especially if you're trading short-term options. It's you're really much just going to the casino and rolling the dice there. So with that, keeping that in mind, very much a spec play with that short-term support coming around 1670, and then some stronger support coming around 1425 to 1430 there, around the 89 EMA. So look at targets to break out is again that $20 plus to really see if that can get some liftoff going there. Next one is the a pair of shoes which I need to get is a pair of Nikes. I need to get a cool pair of dad Nike shoes. This stock, why does it have this alert all the way down here? This thing has been absolutely gangbusters. Of course, being the king of direct to consumer, Nike, very much an interesting pattern I like to see. It is kind of topping here potentially around that 145. You can kind of see that pattern one, two, three, four. Is the fifth time going to be knocking on the door, or is this going to burst right through the screen here and really kind of get it running ripping? So earnings coming out on the 18th after the market close this week. So what is the expected move for Netflix? I mean, Nike is $8.30. So yeah, that has the potential to really rocket higher. Looking for really that initial level around 150. That's going to be a nice round number and really seeing to an all-time high in the stock here. At the same time, we've been very kind of choppy here, kind of a wave pattern here. Initial support's going to be coming in around 140 to 138 if we do get a pullback. And again, really kind of highlighting that 135 range, which is kind of falling into the 89 exponential moving average on the daily chart. Another spec play is EGVO. This again has been talked about quite a bit here. I know Ryan via the Discord and the live stream has talked about this one. Other folks have discussed this one as well, being very much of a spec play as well. It has earnings coming out the 17th. At the same time, making a kind of a stronger recovery here from that high of around 15, coming back down to the 89 EMA, bouncing pretty substantially off that $7 range. Looking to kind of start trading higher. It has broken past the parabolic. As there are dots, you see the dots are now towards the bottom again, so that kind of boosting the trend up from that level here. Short-term support's really going to be coming around $9-ish, 937, and some stronger support's going to be really going to be coming into the 89 EMA, so it's kind of far away down there around 730-ish. The expected move for the week is $2.18. Again, that's a pretty substantial move for a $10 stock. So again, very much a spec play. This is not just like throw your whole account in then and let's go to the casino, boys and girls. Really looking for this to potentially try to test above 11 to 1150, and then again that downward support we just talked about. Another spec play which came from my boy Ryan, which is VUZI. This thing has been an interesting one. This has been a Kathy Woodstock, which she's added for the technology behind. We're making AR glasses that are going to be for like military, technical, industry kind of focused on really just making the new adaptive. This is not your VR headset that you're going to be playing with your boys and girls on the Steam VR controllers and stuff like that. These are like practical, commercially grade AR glasses, which would mean augmented reality, basically adding indications and so forth, and letting the user become more productive, more safety, all kinds of slew of different things. It's actually a pretty interesting technology here. The expected move for the week is $5. $5 on a $22 stock. That's a spicy meatball there as well. So $5 move plus or minus. Again, this thing has moved the last 3 days, basically from 16, the higher 17s, all the way up to $23 here initially. Very aggressive move going into earnings again. Sold off due to the market move there as well. Of course, Kathy came out and said, "I'm buying, boys and girls. Come on board. Choo choo." And of course, people followed. Full disclosure, I do own a little bit of shares, but I'm going to be selling off before earnings coming out because again, I believe it's a coin flip, so we'll see on how it goes out. But it's a pretty fantastic technology. Again, this has earnings coming out today on the 15th after the bell, so very much going to be looking for that. And that again has hitting the parabolic SCR dots, trying to break above 275. 2275. If we get a break above that, it's going to be kind of breaking its previous support here around 23 and potentially can get like a cup with handle here and just blow off here and maybe make a run to 26 to $30. Because again, it's a $5 move and they tell a really compelling story that can get a lot of people excited and throw some cash at this stock. That being said, short-term support is going to be coming in around 19, but some stronger support coming between 1768 to 1625. Again, that falls into that 21 to 34 EMA at those levels. Next one, a little bit of a boring one. So full disclosure, I own a position in this one is Lennar. Oh my gosh, Ken, you're so boring. You're a boomer. Yeah, I like these stocks. These are uh, home builders, infrastructure builders, all kinds of things. This one again has earnings coming out as well. The expected move for this one for the week is around $5.70. So a little bit more of a cha-ching. But again, this is almost a $90 stock. So $90, I would like to see it try to test back up to that 94 to 95 and maybe get a rip higher here. But then we could stall out if the news and the really looking forward on what Lennar will say on guidance. I want to give them, I want them to paint a pretty yellow brick road into prosperity and money for Ken. So looking for that to come through. Initially, short-term support, guess what? Falling in at the 21 to 34 EMA, so $86 to 85, 68, with some, again, that substantial support coming in. Those parabolic SCR dots around $62 to $81 and change there. Again, with earnings, we're expecting a decent move around $5. Nothing compared to at a percentage basis like the other ones we looked at, but yeah. Next one is PDD. Oh, I'm not typing because my computer's stupid. PDD. Of course, this one has been very much, I believe, a Kathy Wood stock too. Again, this one comes out tomorrow morning. Or sorry, Wednesday morning, pre-market. This one has also been an interesting one to watch to kind of see if it does recovery. Has been very aggressively since the pandemic low here. Looking on the weekly chart, this thing has been an absolutely monster and just continue to rip higher here. I actually like these bounces here around the 152 to 150ish range, around the 21 EMA on the weekly chart. So this is a weekly chart looking at a 3-year look back. So that's going to be something interesting to look at. With the expected move, it's going to be pretty saucy, very spicy, nearly $16. So, ooh, that's a nice one there. $16 could potentially try to get back above the 50 SMA here, which is around 176 to 175. If we do get that little momentum going, would like to see at least try to close out the week above at least above 170 to 168. If the report and everyone behind the report are happy with it and they give great guidance, and of course they're posting revenues. At the same time, we're looking for that support coming in around the 144 EMA. This has been somewhat of a haircut here from around that 212 range all the way down to 140 in about 2 weeks. That has made a lot of people a little sour in the sense of maybe seeing this one trying to perform very well on earnings. Speaking of another spec play is FUTU. Of course, this is like a fund or a stock that is basically like the Robin Hood of Asia, aka China. Very much taking off, of course, with options trading and just overall trading and everyone spending their stimulus check on trading and YOLOing calls on GME and AMC and everything else, and just learning the hard way for some folks. This thing has been a very large run up here, basically from that support around $39 to $40. This thing has just ripped higher, another monster on the daily chart here, with earnings coming out on the 16th before the market. So that's tomorrow morning here. Initially speaking, the expected move is nearly $23 ish. So that's going to be another substantial move for a $150 stock. So initially looking for that some support around the 138 and even back down to the 120 to $120 range here, kind of falling into that 50 SMA and those parabolic SER dots that we see on the screen here. To the upside, we need to really see a break above 180. If we break above 180, we can easily test potentially $200 here again. This is going to be very heavy momentum driven stock though. Another one that I like a lot is MP, and I have to thank my wonderful individual person from the Discord and the YouTube subscription tab is Alpaca. Alpaca has talked about this one quite a bit. MP, very much a mining company. What are the analysts saying? They don't have many analysts even on this, so there's no one really looking at it. Um, it's basically it produces of rare earth materials. The company owns and operates Mountain Pass and uh, industrial asset is each mining and processing site and scale of West Hampshire. Is that the company is focused on producing blah 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 blah. Basically, they're trying to collect rare earth elements that are critical components of magnets such as electric vehicles, drones, defense systems, wind turbines, robotics, and many other high growth advanced technologies. So, you don't want to buy solar stocks, you don't want to buy EV stocks, eh, maybe just maybe put a little bit of shekels behind MP here. Again, this thing has been a monster here. So again, I do have a position in this one. It has earnings coming out on aftermarket close on the 18th this week. This thing looks very, very well poised. Again, I own shares in this, so I am looking for the long term. The expected move for the week is around a little over $6, so potentially get enough juice to break above 50 again and really get it up for running again, really emphasizing guidance and how the management is doing so forth with, again, these resources are very much needed. I like the chart here because it's got a squeeze setting up, but with earnings behind it, it really puts a big question mark on where it potentially can go. Like if earnings wasn't here, I would love to see this easily break above 50. But with earnings there, it really throws a wrench into the cog here, and we can maybe see some market volatility here. With some short-term support coming in around $40 to $41 here, around the 21 EMA, and then some stronger support coming around $38 to $39 around the 34 EMA there. So that's those levels there, and that's those the some of the stocks that I'm keeping an eye on for this week's earnings. Um, on that note, I did promise a speculative trade idea. Whoop 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 whoop. So speculative trade idea. What do we have for spec trade idea, Ken? I got an interesting one, boys and girls. I don't own it yet. It is a very strange trading company here. Let's just go ahead and look at it. We are talking about QFIN. That's 360 Digitech company. What do they do? They're a 3D company and 360 Finance. They basically it's a holding company that mainly operates digital customers financial platforms. Of course, financing is going to be going more and more online, even though, yes, traditional banks are slow to incorporate. You see the PayPals, the Squares of the things. You see IPOE, aka SoFi, really taking off here. I like this one as a little bit more of a speculative bet. Again, not completely on board again. It is a company I'm not 100% familiar with. So looking here on its site here, it's just the investor relations site. It is a Chinese-based company, so be very mindful about this one. This is potentially being more of a trade idea on my behalf. On what we're looking for, again, if we do see some positivity stuff come out via FUTU, yeah, FUTU. Not telling the viewer to FU, but that's a ticker symbol. Um, Technically speaking, it kind of failed breakout here around $31. So, but it has come back here to the short-term support. So potentially, if you're very spec trade, again, a spec trade, what is a spec trade, ladies and gentlemen? A spec trade is something, by spec trade, I mean speculative trade, is something that you're only willing to lose a percent or even less than a percent of your portfolio's net capital allocation. So very simplistic. If you have a $10,000 account, you don't want to lose more than $100 on this trade. Very, very just speculative trade and very keeping on a tight leash. So initially some short-term support around 28.64 to around that 27.75 range. If that holds, we could see a pretty substantial bounce. This also has earnings coming out today after. Why is this not? Yeah, it's after the market today. Of course, this is where I want to introduce you to the Wheel of Destiny of like what should we do here? Again, this is completely fun. This is entertainment. The wheel and myself are not financial advisors. So let's give the wheel a spin. Everyone hit that like button. Let's spin it, boys and girls. And it's spinning. So it's gonna tell us what to do with it. And it says hold. I don't have a position, so I can't hold it. Let's just give it another spin to see if it is really meant for destiny, and we'll just have some fun speaking of it, and we'll see how this YOLO calls. Oh snap! We gotta YOLO some calls here. Oh lordy almighty, I don't know what we're gonna do here. YOLO some calls. The expected move for this one is $4.38. 35 was kind of be putting out of the zone here. YOLOing calls would basically buying some levels around here. I don't know. I have to stick to it. I'm gonna YOLO potentially a very small percentage. Again, very much a speculative trade with earnings. Be very careful here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want. I want to make a very decisive bet. I might just buy 3 shares. I will buy 3 shares right now. And on actually I can't buy it. It said YOLO calls, didn't it? So QFIN, I'm gonna prove it to you. I'm gonna buy some just because I love you guys. I'm gonna do it here via my Tastyworks account. Let me get the wheel out of the way here. Tastyworks account, QFIN. Again, if you don't have a Tasty Works account, I have an affiliate link down below. If you want to open an account of $2,000 or more, you have a chance of selecting 100 free shares or 10 call options to start your trading again if you open an account of $2,000 or more. So YOLOing a trade here. That $30 call is going between $1.90 to $2. That's going to be out of my range here. This is my speculative trading account, and it's actually at $10,000. So I have to be very mindful about what I'm looking at here. YOLOing calls would be putting at this weeklies, but I have to kind of give it some kind of guidance. Let's just go for it. I'm gonna put in that limit there, and let's seeing if I get filled. Again, this is a very speculative trade. I want to make sure I want to get filled, so the people on boys and girls do not prove that I'm a cheater. Yep, there it goes. Just got filled. Got the ding. You see it here. All right, let's see again. Please don't do this if you. Again, this is a very speculative trade. I do believe it to some extent. I am breaking a lot of rules here. It is a little bit of fun, a little bit of entertainment here, but this cash is something that it's a very dumb idea. Let's put it that way. Let's just see how this segment works out, and let's just have fun. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to slam that like and subscribe button down below. And if you want to see more of this kind of content on doing due diligence on a smorgasbord of options and stocks for the week, please let me know in the comment section. I really do appreciate it. Check those affiliate links down below for Tastyworks and, of course, Amazon, Audible. And at the same time, please join the Discord if you want to continue this conversation and just have a lot of fun with some other traders and investors. All right, guys, this is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.